Welcome everyone back to 3 Inquisitive Kids. In this video, we will be starting our comprehensive use of factors and multiples, and this is our lesson video. So first, I'd like to go over the factoring format. You probably already know what is prime factoring, which is taking a number like 250 or 376, and we're going to split it up with its prime numbers. And to review, prime numbers are numbers who only have the two factors, 1 in itself. Alright, so what is factor formatting? Let's first get to factoring 250. So 250 is 2 times 5 cubed. Right, 5 cubed is 125, and if you double that, you get 250. And this is our factor format for 250, because as you can see, 2 and 5 are both prime numbers. And instead of writing 2 times 5 times 5 times 5, we omitted that and we instead wrote 2 times 5 cubed. So to make things clear, this is what I want you to be doing today. So throughout this lesson, whenever you're prime factoring, you always want to remember to do exponents. And you might be wondering, well, does this 2 have any exponents? Actually, it does, and it's just omitted because we don't usually need to show it. And that's a 1. 2 to the first power. You can think of it as that. Now I like to get to how to find the number of factors, which we're going to be using in almost every one of these problems we're going to go over today. And one section of that I'm going to be discussing perfect squares. So a lot of numbers, say 12 for example. 12, and let's factor it. Well, and let's see the factor pairs. We have 1 times 12, we have 2 times 6, we have 3 times 4, and if we do 4 times 3, that's just all of it over again. Well, 1, 12, 2, 6, 3, 4. How many factors does 12 have? 6. And you'll see for a lot of numbers, they're all going to have even number of factors. Even if it's a prime number, you're always going to have 2 factors, 1 in itself. But what about some numbers with an odd number of factors? What type of numbers will have an odd number of factors? And perfect squares. So whenever you're asked, well, what number has 9 factors, or what number has 3 factors, you need to pick up on how many factors it has, because perfect squares have an odd number of factors. And here's why. Perfect squares, as you may remember, are numbers like 36, 144, 168, 400. And they're perfect squares because they have 2 same factors multiplied against each other. So this is 6 times 6, 6 squared. This is 12 squared, 13 squared, and this is 20 squared. And whenever we say factors, we actually mean different factors. So you can't count one of these twice, right? If you have 6 times 6, you only count the 6 once because it's not 2 different factors. That's why they only have an odd number of factors. So that's a very important point that in a lot of number sense questions especially, they're going to ask you about. Now, how do you find the number of factors, say for 250? Well, what you do is I'm going to write this one so it's clearer. You're going to take the exponents of your factors. In this case, we have 2 different types of 2 different factors, but you can also, if you have 3 or 4, you can also take the exponents of those as well. Anyway, you take all the exponents of your prime factors, and you just add each of them by 1. So this would be 2, right? Because 1 plus 1 is 2, and this would be 4 because 3 plus 1 is 4. That equals 8, meaning 250 has 8 distinct factors, 8 factors. Now, why is that true? Well, if we were to list these all out, you'll see that for 2, remember, we can either have 1 2 or we can have 0 2s. For 5, we can either have 0 5s, 1 5, 2 5s, or 3 5s. And so this has 2 different options, and this has 4 different options. Multiply those together, you get 8 factors. Let's practice that on 376. 376 divided by 2, let's see, because 2, we know it's even, so 2 would be the smallest prime factor. Now let's divide and we get 188. Let's divide that by 2 again. We get 94. Divide by 2 again and we get 47. 47 itself is a prime number, meaning we cannot go any further. So the prime factorization of 376 would be 2 cubed multiplied by 47. And remember, this 47 actually also has an exponent, and that's just 1. Now let's find the number of factors for 376. Well, we take the exponents of each of these prime factors, and 3 plus 1 is 4. 1 plus 1 is 2, so we get 8 factors as well.